Alright, let's see here. Why isn't the game started up already? What are you doing? Game, why you take so long? And there we are. There it is. There's our game. Right. There it is. Okay. Oh. Okay, I think we're up and running now. Alright, so let's begin the game. We will go from... So, yesterday, we had... Oh, okay, so what did we go through yesterday, actually? We went on an exploration. We unlocked some achievements that didn't actually end up right. Are they, like, just not there? It's silly. It's in gallery. Oh. Huh. Where are the achievements? Can we not look? Okay, fine. But yeah, and then after we went and explored the area, we went and met with, what's his name now? Lauren. So, we will now continue on with, Oh, am I at the right place? Oh, we wanted to meet Rumami and I accidentally clicked on him, so yeah, there we go, that's what. Oops. Thank you again for helping me the other day. Without you, I would have been trapped sorting books for a few more hours. Inviting you over for dinner is the least I can do. Really is? It's no problem really? It's no problem really. It's no problem really. Besides, I'm also here to learn more about your kind. Spending some time in the library is only appropriate. Oh, my gratitude is yours regardless. Anyways, is there anything in particular you would like to eat? Oh my gosh, my internet keeps saying welcome to the chat room, it's weird. Anything will do. How about steak? I could have some meat right now. Meat. What do we do? Anything will do? I think anything will do. It's fine. I happen to have some nice steaks left. How does that sound? This might take a while, so make yourself at home. With those words, Remy walked into the partially walled-off kitchen. There was no door, so I saw him open the fridge and take out 2 steaks before he set them on the counter. Soon after, he was already preparing the various ingredients with his somewhat clumsy paws. He was silent for a moment, then lifted his snout and looked at me from over the partition. What is it? I was just thinking about something. I could help cook if you like. Don't worry about it. Alright. I looked around the apartment as Remy cooked and couldn't help but notice the almost mesmerizing tidiness that permeated the place. Shelves were filled with books, scrolls, magazines, and other various trinkets. Suddenly, the repetitious noise of vegetables being cut ceased as Remy turned from the adjoining room. I'll be back in just a minute. He went down the hall and vanished through the bathroom door. What should I do? Let's go through and everything. I moved over to the shelves and idly looked through the books and scrolls. Nothing particularly interesting caught my eye. From the titles alone, it seemed all genres were more or less represented, fiction and non-fiction alike. The scrolls were neatly sorted in holders, though I couldn't make out the logical consistency behind their arrangement. Anatomy, huh? Let's check that out. Oh. Huh. Not quite sure what I expected. Huh? Go into the bathroom. Wait a minute, he has a second bathroom? I wonder why. Look at the pictures. I picked up one of the framed photos to examine it more closely. It was a red dragon. I guess it was a female of young adult or college age, though I wasn't sure, as it was still hard to tell without looking at the obvious signs. Her crimson-scaled head was adorned with frills that ran down the back of her neck. She wasn't familiar to me. Oh, the bathroom door opened and revealed the white dragon. As he approached, I felt my stomach grumble quietly. I barely heard the muffled sound, but when I saw Remy's ears perk, I realized he had more sensitive ears than I expected. Hungry already, I take it? I suppose so. I'll starve if you keep standing around. I'm so empty. Lift your shirt. I suppose so. Although your stomach already answered that question for you. After entering the kitchen once more, I saw the dragon look over the kitchen partition again. His mouth opened a little, as though he were going to speak, but his brow scrunched with hesitation. Before I could say anything, he shook his head and continued to cook. Soon, I had the sizzling of frying meat as the delicious smell of steak wafted into the room. Fueled by its fragrant odor, I slowly lost myself to daydreams as I closed my eyes. Oh, is something wrong? You are salivating. It's nothing. I was just thinking about something. Well, the food is ready. Enjoy. I looked down and saw that a plate was already in front of me, piled with steak and vegetables. Remy was already eating, so I took the knife he had provided and cut off a small corner of my steak. Then I pierced it with the fork, its 3 prongs penetrating the flesh unrelentingly. Slowly, I raised it into my mouth, and my tongue glided over the bare substance briefly as it entered my lips. I took the first bite. A delicately crisp exterior with a much softer and juicy inside. It melted on my tongue like butter as the taste spread to even the remotest corner of my mouth. It was almost perfect. So what were you thinking about? Huh? Remy's words snapped me back to reality. You said you were thinking about something. Looked at some of your scrolls. Do you live here by yourself? Thinking about those recent murders? I met Emra recently. Why did you use a stove to cook? Do you live here by yourself? That's a question we can ask. Do you live here by yourself? I do. Honestly, you are the first new person to visit in a while. He spoke softly, and his gaze wandered. Oh, I see. Thank you again for inviting me. Looked at some of your scrolls. Suppose that's one thing. Which ones? The ones on anatomy. Well, I do have a variety of books and scrolls covering all kinds of different subjects. I saw as much. You may have heard that I have a degree in biology, which is one of the reasons I was given the honor of coming here in the first place. As such, your anatomy is of high interest to me and one of the things I'm supposed to study. My anatomy? I was talking about your kind in general, not you in particular. Oh, in that case, I might be able to find you something more comprehensive than a handful of scrolls. I'd greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Why did you use a stove to cook? Why did you use a stove to cook? I mean, can't you just use your fire? Well, for one, not all of us have that ability. Besides, we still appreciate the convenience that comes with appliances like this one. Not everyone wants to eat food cooked with someone else's breath. Breathing fire indoors is also a little unsafe. I see, that makes a lot of sense. Think about those recent murders. We'll save that one for last, probably. Met Emma recently. You met my boss. She was hanging around Tattoo Park, except, like, the achievement didn't recognize the fact that I did. She certainly does that a lot. Let me give you one piece of advice. Don't ever work for a politician. I was thinking about those recent murders. There we go. Oh, what a terrible thing. People can be so cruel sometimes. They can be. Where I come from, incidences like this are unfortunately fairly common. Truly, here it is almost unheard of. One just needs to take a look at the statistics to realize that this is very unusual, or just an exceptionally bad week. Oh, did I? Oh, okay, I didn't do anything. I thought I pressed the wrong key. Nothing in particular. Anyways, how do you like the food? It is adequate. It is delicious. I would marry the steak if I could. It is delicious. Thank you. I suppose you learn to cook well when you live on your own long enough. That makes sense. Soon, both of our plates were picked clean. I guess I judged your portion correctly, unless you want more. I am good, thanks. That was an interesting steak. What kind of meat was that? Those were aurochs steaks. Are you familiar with that animal? I may have heard of aurochs before. They are rather large bovine mammals characterized by their horns and body shape. We get a range of products from them, from meat and milk to sub-products like butter and cheese, in addition to leather, felt, oils and creams. We even use their horns and bones for a variety of things. That sounds similar to an animal we have back at home. Speaking of unfamiliar creatures, why don't you tell me more about your species? Are you referring to me, or all of us? Our society is comprised of a number of different species, which you have probably noticed by now. I guess all of you. Let's start with the basics. I'm sure you're aware, but unlike the mammalian aurochs, we are reptiles. This makes me wonder about you. Based on your fur, I guess that you are a mammal, but you're very different from other mammals we know. In the same vein, you don't share many characteristics with our reptiles back home. By the way, we don't have fur, but hair. What's the difference? Fur has a set length, whereas hair will keep growing. Fur is more dense than hair. There is none. Fur has a set length? I guess that makes sense. Fur has a set length, so it will grow, whereas hair will keep growing, so we regularly cut it. Is that so? Interesting. I was wondering something. Are you wearing all those coverings to make up for a lack of hair? I suppose that's one reason why humans wear clothes. They also provide warmth and protection, and are used to differentiate us from one another. Sometimes, uniforms are used as identification. Other times, clothes are just ornamental. What a person wears can tell us something about the person itself. That sounds complicated. We also have uniforms and wear some things for ornamental reasons, though our uses aren't quite as extensive. That brings up an interesting question. Are you endo or exothermic? We produce our own body heat. That is unusual. Where I come from, all reptiles are exothermic, unless you count birds as reptiles, I guess. But none of your reptiles are sentient, correct? Maybe it has something to do with our different brain structures. Maybe. Now that you've been in our world for a while, how do you like it here? I like the people. The people are cool. The people. That is good to hear. Cultural differences can make things very difficult sometimes, even within the same species. I'm glad things are working out for you so far. Oh, I just remembered. I was able to save my game after all. Your interference was only a minor setback. Yay! That's awesome. Autosaves? Oh, it's like us when our game broke. Autosaves. Save the day. Only set us back like a little bit. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Good job, Remy, you're awesome. Of course. It turned out it wasn't a big deal after all. You know, if that hadn't worked out so well, I would have had to consider making you play up to that point again for me. Ain't nobody got time for that. Sure, I wouldn't mind playing some of your video games. Yeah, honestly, wouldn't mind. Is that so? Yeah, they're fun. I'd like to see what kinds of games you have here. I'll keep that in mind. Perhaps I can show you sometime. You know, I'm glad you're here. Since you arrived in our world, we haven't really had the chance to just sit down and talk. Didn't know you wanted to chat. I agree. I'm usually no sit down and talk kind of person. I agree. It's been a busy time for me, as you can imagine. Oh, of course. Thanks for taking the time to pay me a visit. I always have so many things to take care of that it's hard for me to find time to do something simple like this. What am I saying? At least it worked out this time. You do have a point though. I don't really know that much about you. I know where you work. Most of our conversations so far have revolved around things other than you and me. Why don't you tell me more about yourself? I don't really like talking about myself. Aw, why not? I guess I wouldn't know what to say. I'm not really that interesting. It sounds like me. I don't believe you. There's also the uncertainty of not knowing how another person will react to something I say. I don't want to embarrass myself. Hey, at least you told me that. That's something. I suppose. Anyway, now that you've seen my apartment, I'm wondering what your home on the other side of the portal looks like. It's nothing special. Yours is prettier. Actually, everything here looks nice in comparison to back home. Is that so? In some ways, I'm not really looking forward to returning, but it's not like I have a choice in the matter. I suppose you could always visit if you wanted to. Wouldn't be that easy, I'm afraid. There was an extensive process involved for selecting who would go through the portal, and I was only one of many applicants. I'm still surprised that I ended up being chosen. At least you're here now. Indeed. So, what have you been up to since the last time I saw you? You mean since I went into the kitchen to cook the steaks? Very funny. I'm just messing with you, Yoshi. With all the talking, I totally forgot about dessert. You have to bother I'm on the diet. Would it happen to be a cream pie with a cherry on top? Let's make the joke. No, why do you ask? No reason. I'll be just a minute. He nearly stacked our dishes before he took them into one of his forepaws and went back into the kitchen using his other 3 limbs. I couldn't help but think that it looked pretty awkward. When he returned balancing a plate with a rather attractive cake sliced in a similar manner, I realized he would have to make multiple trips to carry everything to the table. Ask him if he needs help. Do you need any help with that? Don't worry about it, I can handle it. You're my guest after all. No. Once he placed the first cake slice on the table, he went back to fetch the other. When he approached the table a second time, though, one of the tiny dessert forks started to slip off of the plate. Remy reached with his free forepaw in his attempt to save it, but lost balance without its support and fell over. Oh no! In an instant, the plate, fork, and cake slice flew through the air. The dish and silverware clattered as the pristine cake crumbled into a sad heap on the floor. Oh no! Aw. No! You okay? For a few moments there was silence as Remy and I looked at the result of his blunder. Oh no, I should have just helped him. I'm sorry, Yoshi. No! I'll just eat your slice instead. Wow, that's mean. You don't need to apologize. It's fine. This isn't just about you and your cake. This always happens to me, no matter how hard I try. Aww. You have proper hands, so do some of the other species. How can someone like me even be a librarian? Not a day goes by without me dropping a scroll and furling it across the room. But the customers don't care or pity me too much to say anything. It's a common sight for them after all. This is about Emra, isn't it? Guess it is. I just don't see why someone like me got to be librarian when there were others more qualified for the position, or who are at least capable of not dropping the inventory on a daily basis. She makes fun of you for it. I knew it. I mean, why else would she have me to do these tasks all the time? Sorting books, carrying things from one place to another? I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't work somewhere where my worth is only in the entertainment I provide. Why don't you look for a new job? These positions have terms similar to those of ministers. If I ended my employment prematurely, it wouldn't look great. How long do you have left? A while. Should resign Can't you report her? Yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't tell him to resign, but telling him to endure it is a bit, but I don't like the prospect of, like, telling him to, like, asking him if he can report to a superior, because I feel like he would say no. I guess that's the best choice here, though. Not really. It's not like I could prove anything. Her public and her private demeanor are 2 very different things, and it would be my word against hers. I just wanted to have a nice evening with you, and now it ended up like this. I shouldn't have brought that up. Don't worry about it. I still think it was a nice evening. Maybe I should stop being such a sourpuss then. I can help you clean up. Thank you, Yoshi. You are absolutely welcome. We cleaned up together, and by the end he seemed to be in high spirits. Afterwards, we said our goodbyes and I left, not sure what to think. Alright, nice. Oh, another one of these. Intuition. Huh. Interesting. What's going on here? What do those little cutscene-ish things mean? The morning sun declared the arrival of a new day and woke me from my vivid dreams. Memories of my home, enclosed within a towering perimeter wall, raced through my head. The peaceful landscape outside the apartment window stood in defiance of these old thoughts. Rolling hills and blue sky were familiar to me now, and the purity of the sight gave me hope. Oh, doorbell. Yoshi, please come with me. Oh no, Sebastian, what is it now? What's going on? You sound serious. Chief will explain everything once we arrive. Okay. Hey Chief, Yoshi is here. Thanks, Sebastian. You can deal with the situation here while I'll talk to Yoshi, alright? Of course. Yoshi, I've got some really bad news. Okay. Well, what is it? You know Anna, right? I've met her, yes. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say this. Those few words were enough. Dread sank in, and I already knew. Don't. I ignored his words and walked past him. Oh no. No way. When I turned the corner, there was no mistaking her. Anna was haphazardly covered by a sheet, leaving a tail and blood-stained hand exposed. In the end, she didn't even deserve full discretion. Oh no. Oh. Hey Roo. Oh, you know, you just loaded up into a really sad moment. Oh. Oh no, I'm sorry. Welcome, but sad moment. Are you okay? I don't know. I don't think I'm okay here. This isn't okay. Is there anything that I can do? Let's just get this over with. Bryce gave me a concerned look, but then nodded. And here's more bad news. More? The blood we found in the first victim in town matches the DNA evidence found of the second victim at the power facility. Furthermore, the murder weapon and method appear to be the same across all three victims, and that's gonna be a big problem for you. Why is that? Because with these three murders, Reza now qualifies as a serial killer. You won't be able to keep this whole thing quiet for much longer. Higher authorities, including the ministry in charge of your whole visit, will know about this soon. I have no idea what will happen once they do. I'm not sure what to say to that. I don't want to worry you, but we can be sure that action will be taken soon. I've been considering this possibility for a while. I think it might be best if you went back to your own world for now. This way we can take action before the ministry does, and before this all becomes public. If we wait, we don't know what they'll do or how the public will react. With everything going on, it's too dangerous for you to stay here. Yeah, but how are we gonna locate Reza without us being here? No. No. This would be the worst possible time for me to leave. We've given up our PDAs and hardly have anything to show for it. We are owed several more generators, and let's not forget that Reza is still missing. If I leave now, the only thing I return home with is my life. I'll have lost everything else. We need those generators, Bryce. I have no idea if your authorities will continue to uphold our deal or what they do to Reza, but I'm not leaving until this is over. If that's your decision, then so be it. Anyway, let's get back on track. I called you here for a reason, Yoshi. In addition to the murder, several things were stolen. Among them, your PDAs, batteries, and some components used to build generators. Does that ring any bells? Not really. Riza might have some knowledge of electronics, but I doubt he has enough to assemble one of your generators, even if he had the part. Strange. Even so, it's fair to assume Riza's involvement at this point. No one else has a greater motive to steal the PDAs, especially after what happened between him and Maverick. Is Maverick here? Is he on the case again? Yeah, the thing is, what if, like, Riza's being, like, held hostage or something? I don't know. Because it just makes it seem too obvious that Riza would be the guy that's just going around killing. I mean, sure, if he is, then alright, but I don't know. It's too weird. Unless someone wanted to frame Riza in order to sabotage this whole operation. Okay, there we go. Just right, thanks, in-game me. Thanks. Do you really believe that? Hey, I'm just saying that it's possible. I'll shelf that idea under possible, but unlikely. Hey Chief, are we done here? Pretty much. Why do you ask? We just got a message from the higher-ups. You and Yoshi had to report to the Ministry of Culture and Arts immediately. Immediately as in right now? Yeah, apparently. What's going on? To be frank, I don't know. It's an extraordinary situation, and now that it's getting out of hand, they must want to address it. So the worst possibility, maybe it's not going to be a big deal, maybe they're going to throw a surprise party. I don't think that kind of attitude is going to be a good idea here. Worst possibility. We're going to have to be blunt about this. If you expect the worst, at least you won't be disappointed, that's right. Sebastian, you can finish up here and go to the ministry when you're done. We'll probably have to make some arrangements after this meeting. Sure thing, Chief. Let's go then, shall we? It's not like we have a choice. Oh? Why are we suddenly here? Ooh. That was quicker than I expected. I wouldn't have minded waiting out here a little longer. Greetings, Minister. Greetings. We're out here for the meeting. Okay. Shall we go inside for our official business? No, I've got everything I need right here. It gets so stuffy inside on hot days. My assistant doesn't seem to mind, but I prefer the fresh air. I'd rather just stay right here, unless you have any objections. I don't. I see. Well, I know I haven't exactly been up to date in regards to Riza's sudden disappearance, but to get the message today that he is a confirmed serial killer was quite shocking. Frankly, I'm curious as to why the facts of this case have been withheld from me for so long. Simply because they weren't within your jurisdiction. The murders were strictly a police matter. Only with the amount of new evidence, namely the DNA and blood we found, and these 3 murders now being linked together, and to him, did your ministry have to become involved. I see, so Riza's involvement is now undeniable. I'm afraid so, Minister. Facts are nothing to be afraid of, though in light of all this, I'm starting to worry about my personal safety. With our thick hides, I don't think our species has much to fear if we consider the murder weapon. Speak for yourself. You don't think someone of my standing needs protection? Oh, for sure. If you're worried about your personal safety, we could look into an escort for you. Good. Considering all the murders took place during the night, I'll certainly need it. Long days are endemic in my line of work. But that's enough about myself. We now face the question of what should be done about Riza and Yoshi. Minister, we continue our hunt for Riza every day. As a matter of fact, Yoshi has been helping us do so for a while now. Is that so? One human a murderer, another a detective. Interesting. And how do we know Yoshi isn't following a similar plan to Riza's, whatever that may be? Similar concerns were leveled by Riza's escort, Maverick. It was his reaction that caused Riza to run away in the first place. That's weird. Those two might have more of a connection than we are aware of. And we did see Maverick show up there like expected, unless he's already come around. Let the human talk for once, Chief. Please, Yoshi, enlighten me. You and Riza came here on the same mission, and the situation has escalated beyond our expectations. What you tell me now What you tell me now will determine the actions I'll take on this matter. Oh, is it the game just warning me now that this is going to be a big decision, or I don't know. Maybe you should start by telling me your side of the events from the beginning. Riza was fine during his early days here. Things only went wrong after you arrived. See, that's the thing, because Riza didn't do anything before, like, right? Because he was fine before then, and then suddenly it's just like, what? It's weird. I opened my mouth, but Bryce spoke first, determined to defend me. Arguably, the problems that caused all this were apparent even then. How so? Maverick suspected Riza of planning something, but I didn't think he had a case. Well, did he? No, what he had was a suspicion. The night he followed Riza, he found both him and Yoshi at the portal. The humans intended to send one of their promised generations through, but there was a confrontation that ended with both Maverick and Yoshi wounded and Riza running away. Oh, sorry, what? Generators, sorry. Oh my gosh. Riza's been missing ever since. I've read the reports already, Chief. The question is, did Maverick cause this, or did he just fail to prevent it? I have no way of knowing that, Minister. You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back then. Problems may not have been the right word. Let's just say Maverick's attitude was not helpful during that encounter. Why did you choose Maverick as his escort in the first place? Protection for the human ambassador was my greatest concern when I made that decision. Maverick was the most capable individual in that regard. Well, that worked out nicely, didn't it? You also seem to think that Maverick shouldn't have remained Riza's escort. Is that true? Yes. Had I paid more attention to the warning signs, this situation may have been avoided. So you accept responsibility for the incident? Yes, Minister. I see. Now, let's get back to the topic of Yoshi. Riza was your partner in humanity's mission to come to this world. His list of criminal activities not only includes murder, but also theft of generators, electronic components, and the PDAs your people gave to us. I understand why Bryce would reason that you could help the investigation, but we have no other choice but to be suspicious of Riza's partner. What was your motivation when you agreed to help us? Bryce wouldn't let me say no. It is my best bet at finding the truth. It is beneficial to my actual mission. That sounds fishy. It is my best bet at finding the truth. The truth is what we're seeking here. I thought Riza's involvement was undeniable at this point. That may be true, but we still don't know. We don't have the whole picture. We don't know if others are involved, or his reasons. I just want to know why. I see. Well, after reading up on the whole situation and hearing both your accounts, I believe that Yoshi is trustworthy. Nevertheless, I think Yoshi presents a great risk. Why is that? After this meeting, I'll hold a press conference to inform the public of the current situation. People must know of the danger posed by Riza. No matter what Bryce and I think about your involvement, the public could feel differently. You, me and Bryce will have to face the backlash resulting from this information becoming public. What's more, Yoshi, you might be in real danger yourself. Riza himself may come to silence you once he learns that you are helping us, or consider the public uproar from those who would question your involvement. All things considered, it would be for the best if you return to your own world until the situation has been resolved. I came to the very same conclusion, Minister. Then, with your support, this is what shall be done. Please don't. You don't agree? If you send me back now, this diplomatic relationship is over. I'd have to admit defeat to humanity. There is no way I can return without your generators, our PDAs, or Riza. Maybe you could explain to them what a great choice of an ambassador Riza was. But I was his partner, so in a way, he is my responsibility. I can't just go back like this. I'm afraid that's not enough. It certainly doesn't outweigh our reasons for sending you home. Just let me explain. I'll tell you everything. Backstory. Years ago, our world was prosperous. Our technology was far more advanced than yours, even. Computers not only graced every household, but every single person. It was the age of information. Even children had the power to access the most advanced knowledge at their fingertips. With our PDAs, our interconnectedness with other people and our environment was greater than ever. From locomotion to repetitious work and household chores, many processes were automated to such a degree that except for our jobs and hobbies, there was nothing that needed to be done by a person anymore. Even the concept of someone wielding a weapon was outdated, as wars were no longer fought by people, but machines. Looking back, it was probably the single most prosperous time in human history. Exploitation of the environment and other people was at an all-time low, as was crime. Conversely, our technological advancements had drastically increased quality of life. Humans were no longer required for strenuous and repetitive tasks. Education had reached an all-time high, and many new jobs were created. General happiness had reached levels never before seen. Yet one day, everything changed. Huh? What's that all about? A solar flare that was headed for Earth was detected by an automated monitoring system. It was determined to be so powerful that it dwarfed all others ever recorded in history. We had less than a week to prepare. Chaos hit much earlier than that, as people scrambled to shield themselves and their possessions from the incoming ion storm. On a worldwide level, power lines were switched off, satellites reorientated in space, and planes grounded to mitigate the effects that would hit us. Despite humanity's contingency plan for such an event and all our efforts, we were still not prepared for the sheer magnitude of the solar flare that arrived. It was only then, when our race had become so dependent on technology, that we were immeasurably vulnerable against this kind of disaster. That day, a force with the power of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs was unleashed into our atmosphere. The eyewitness reports from this day were varied, as they were terrifying. It's so fascinating. A huge, beautiful aurora could be seen on the horizon before fireballs hurled across the sky. In some places, these lights became so bright that even those asleep at night woke, as though day had already arrived. A coronal mass ejection by itself did not have the power to kill anyone directly, but the side effects were disastrous. After the lights in the sky arrived, sparks showered from electrical outlets everywhere, igniting rampant fires in every town and city. Facilities that stored weapons, fireworks, or other explosives became centers of widespread destruction and loss of life. During the next stage, the solar flare started to affect body modifications and caused commonplace pacemakers and nanomachines to fail. 15% of the world's population died as the result of this alone. Once the full power of the waves hit us, however, society as we knew it collapsed in one fell swoop. Power grids on Earth shut down in an instant, as did all the machines that automated our routine tasks. Long-distance communication and transport became a thing of the past. Without electrical power, the quality of healthcare plummeted, and water and sewage systems were crippled. Diseases we thought defeated centuries ago made their comeback in a most unsightly fashion. It's weird how we kind of just jumped into like a history lesson. Oh my gosh. What's that all about? Hold on, I don't have a Streamlabs open. Give me a moment to open that. We'll continue reading in the meantime. Many thought the end of the world had arrived, and in a way, it had. Some people blamed whoever their belief system would allow, angry at the gods that had forsaken them. Others pointed their fingers at our lifestyle and society, not that anyone was listening. Let's see here. Black Blade Master, thank you so much for the follow. Not the follow, the host as always. Practically, we were back in the Middle Ages. Governments collapsed and were overthrown, and the ensuing power vacuums filled with groups of people that were sometimes organized and sometimes not. The few functioning electronic devices left became rare, sought-after artifacts over which battles and even wars were fought. Wow. Very intense backstory. Of course, there were also wars over resources and territory. The weaponry used was improvised or reclaimed from the days when humans had been present on the battlefield. It had been ages, but people returned to the old, bloody ways of war. Humanity is in shambles now. Those that I'd call family and friends now live with me in a giant, mostly self-sufficient city-state of survivors, a huge wall around the perimeter, guarded by militia, prevent any outside interference. It's the only way we can retain a modicum of order. Gangs of raiders and looters run rampant on the outside. They wouldn't hesitate to kill first and ask questions later if they had known about my PDA. Wow. Our contained community has flourished for years now. We have homes to live in, crops to grow, and livestock to raise, and still have our own automated hospital that runs on salvage generators. Lately though, supplies have started to run low, and dangerously so. Like, how does this explain the human extinction? I don't know. I'm a bit confused as to how this... I guess this is the reasoning for them for us wanting to stay. And the whole generators and everything. But hey, welcome, Fusion. Didn't expect for you to come around so late. The power we have is running out. Illnesses are spreading throughout the city, and treatment isn't as available as it used to be. Our population is dropping by the day. We took a great risk to increase the radius of our scouting missions, desperate to find something outside the wall that could help us. You already know the rest of the story. We found the portal, and you. So this is how, and then they found the portal, and that was like their solution. It was like their big wow moment. And now you know why this whole thing is so important to me. All our hopes lie in acquiring the generators he promised us. Don't tell my mum I'm not past my bedtime. Okay. The act of sending Riza and me here has, without a doubt, already cost the lives of some people back home. Beyond the city walls is a dead zone. We haven't heard from any other settlements for months now. The state of the rest of our world is unknown. Wow, that's really dark. When Riza and I were sent here, my peers made it clear that this was our last chance. If anything happens to us, no more people will be sent. If we can't manage to bring back something that will help, we'll have sealed the fate of the tens of thousands that live in our city. I'm sorry, Yoshi. I didn't know. If what you are telling me is true, it unfortunately does not work in your favor. As sad as your situation may be, it gives Riza a motive. Desperate times call for desperate measures after all. In that vein, it also gives you a motive. Considering the gravity of the human plight, it gives you all the more reason to collaborate with him. I find that funny because it isn't 10 AM my time. I'm not. What Riza is doing is wrong. You can't send me away under these circumstances, because I'm your best bet at finding him. Even so, he would still be in grave danger after we announce Riza's involvement in the murders. I cannot and will not take responsibility for the consequences when I know of the risks. What about our deal then? In the wake of this new information, as a sign of goodwill, we will send the generators you are owed through the portal once this is over, under 2 conditions. Humanity must condemn Riza's actions, and we must reclaim the stolen PDAs. I've changed my mind. You should let Yoshi stay here. I cannot take your word under consideration in this matter, Chief. Taking into account Maverick's actions and your responsibility for them, you will have to be dealt with separately. Hi, Yoshi for voice acting 2018. Not that good, am I? With my authority as the minister in charge of the human visit, my decision is to have Yoshi sent back to the human world through the portal. Please. Immediately. Chief, please arrange for an escort to take Yoshi to the portal now. I could do it myself, Minister. Well, we have our own matters to discuss, Chief, and I would rather get that over with as quickly as possible. In that case, one of my officers should be here any moment. I arranged for him to meet us here. Oh, handy. Then let us wait for this officer of yours. Wait, so humans still exist? Yes, we've just travelled to this world for, like, hope. Well, now we just got to explain why we're here in the first place and why we need these generators. Before it was just like, oh, we've been sent to this world to fulfill something that, like, get these generators, but we didn't find out why and everything. It didn't take long for Sebastian to arrive. After the situation was explained, he was visibly shocked, but didn't protest when he was given the task of sending me back through the portal. Let's go, Yoshi. Don't I even get to say goodbye? Let's not waste any more time. You will still be free to send letters after you have arrived on the other side. Just go, Yoshi. Come on then. this idea. Something's gonna happen, right? Something's gonna stop this from happening. Right? This can't be the end. It's not the end of the game, but like, I feel like we wouldn't get sent back. I just feel like that wouldn't be right. We were silent as Sebastian and I slowly made our way to the portal. With each step I took, I drew closer and closer to the hopelessness waiting for me in the ruins of the human world. All in all, I suddenly had a unique experience alongside these dragons, and although this place was filled with just as much drama and murder as back home, I would remember this world and all the people I met. I would fondly think back to the days I spent in their comfortable standard of living, a shadow of how humanity used to be. Even without the generators, at the very least, I'd be returning home with a few life lessons. What's going on here? Lost in thought, I hadn't even noticed Adina approach. It's none of your concern. Please leave. Can't I even get a few minutes before I go? I suppose nobody's stopping us, but make it quick. Human on an official business, huh? I don't even know you right now, do I? Don't you remember? I met you in the cafe and at that crime scene. That's all, isn't it? Unless I missed something, yeah. What are you doing out here? I was just practicing my flying when I spotted you down here, and who would say no to an opportunity to meet one of the humans? Not me. I'm afraid this will be both our first and last opportunity to talk. I'm about to leave this world again. Is that so? That's too bad. Kind of a shame I never got to know you. Wait, does this have something to do with those rumors I heard? Is Riza really a murderer? I'm afraid so. What does that make you? I don't have anything to do with that. I was hoping the police find him. Then why are you leaving? It's for my own safety, apparently. This wasn't my decision. Really? But what about Riza? All I could offer was a shrug. I guess they're convinced that they can find him on their own. I see. I'm not sure what to think anymore. I'm not sure either. I looked over my shoulder and glanced at Sebastian. I should be going now. Right. Goodbye, Yoshi. Goodbye, Adine. I remember her. That was the witness from Riza's first murder. Did you know her? Was it actually possible? Like, we would have never known that this would have come up. So that's the thing. So if we had gone and talked with them, would it have made, like, would have made an impact on the story right now, huh? Ah, a little. Knew her a little. I see. It's the portal. It's the portal. A few minutes later, we arrived at the portal, standing proud as ever in defiance of the elements. How many years had the structure survived before it was found? I hope I can remember how this thing works. Are you joking? Yeah, sorry, I got it. Right, I suppose it's time for us to say goodbye. Let's keep it professional. I don't like to mix personal matters with this work. I looked away, and I shrugged. Go ahead and turn it on then. Would you stand between the pillars, please? Of course. I took my place and stared toward the horizon while I thought about what would happen now, in this world and others. Even if I made a break for it, I'd become a fugitive, no better than Riza. It would be near impossible to investigate the case by myself while on the run in a world I knew so little about. At the very least, I took comfort in the fact that I did everything I could to help, even if it turned out like this. Nevertheless, I dreaded going back empty-handed and returning to my old life in our ruined city. Any second now, the teleportation process would start, disintegrating my body before I would reappear on the other side, back in my dying world. I wondered if there was any risk of getting lost somewhere between worlds. We didn't really know how the portals worked after all. Maybe I'd be flung somewhere else in space-time, or it might affect my body in some way. I hadn't noticed any unusual changes in my body since I arrived in the dragon's world, but I had no way of knowing if there were potential long-term side effects. I still remember the images I saw when I teleported the first time, the vivid sights and patterns, people and situations I have recognized since then. It only took a moment to arrive at the other side of the portal, and it felt like I had dreamed 1,000 dreams. and during the nights I spent here, these dreams had often reappeared. Any time now, I would undergo the same experience again. I was almost relieved that my adventure was over. Things had turned out far differently than expected. I evaded danger, got swept into a murder investigation, and met incredible, intelligent beings from several different species. It had certainly been a time to remember. That thought, I closed my eyes and braced myself for the moment that would come any second now. But that moment never came. The next thing that did happen was that I heard Sebastian's voice. It's not working. Are you joking again? No, really. It's not working. Wait, what is this? It's broken. Oh boy. Of course it's broken. Of course it's broken. Can you fix it? I don't think so. This doesn't look like a simple act of vandalism. It looks like some parts were torn out. I guess that means I'm not leaving, huh? Not yet, at least. Well, what do we do now? Let's head back. The chief has to know about this right away. We were back at the ministry before long. Emra and Bryce were still outside as Remy approached the two of them. Hey, here are the case files, Emra. Why, thank you. Yoshi, an officer? What is this about, Emra? This is what I would like to know. Please, officer, enlighten me. Why has my order not been carried out? The portal is broken. It's broken? Yeah, it looks like someone tampered with it and stole the parts. I couldn't even get the interface to turn on. We'll check it out once I'm done here. I suppose Yoshi will stay with us for a little longer after all. Seeing how this is an emergency situation, I will make this short. Chief, as a result of your carelessness regarding Maverick and Reza, you are temporarily removed from any duties related to the Given these dangerous times, you instead serve as my personal escort until further notice. Considering the circumstances, you will be allowed to coordinate the investigation of the portal, but after that, you are to immediately return to me to start your new task. Understood? Understood. And all of you are dismissed. She turned to leave, Remy trailing after her. Alright, let's head to the portal. That includes you, Yoshi. Of course. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a sheet of paper on the ground. Is it the lemon secret message again? Hey, what's this? Emra probably dropped one of the case files. Either her or her assistant. You better bring that to her. Sebastian and I should hurry to the portal. Meet us there afterwards, okay? Sure. Picked up the sheet and started reading. It was about what had happened when I met Reza at the portal. Of course, it didn't say anything I didn't already know. As I walked up the stairs, I wondered if it was okay for an unauthorized person to enter the building. All I knew about the place was that Emerald worked there. I did have an important document that was going to be missed, so I walked inside, only to be greeted by an empty lobby. Luckily, there were some signs directing me to Emra's office. It didn't take long to find it, and I heard voices when I approached the door. By the way, what happened to the scroll you brought me this morning? The last time I saw it, it did not have that tear. I dropped it. Tell me something new for once. Okay, someone else dropped it. Am I supposed to believe that? Remy, are you aware of how much this costs? Repairing and replacing artifacts is not cheap. This Australian accent. Oh, hello, O1 person. Welcome to the stream. Australian accent. I'm afraid we'll have to deduct this from your wage again. What? What? I see. You are not doing this on purpose, are you? Of course not. You have been working for me for a long time now. I expected you to learn at some point, but you are very resistant to do so. Not wanting to listen to this any longer, I decided to knock. There were a few seconds of silence. Please come in. I only opened the door long enough to hand Remy the sheet of paper. I think you dropped this outside. After I closed the door and started to walk away, I heard the voices resume. This is from one of the case files you requested. You must have dropped it. Then why was it left outside? As my assistant, you should have paid more attention. If this got into the wrong hands, somebody could get in trouble. Oh, we're back out again. Sad. I made my way back to the portal and arrived shortly after Bryce and Sebastian. Well, I can confirm that it's not turning on. I told you that already. Just wanted to be sure. You really think it would still work with a chunk ripped out of it? Hey, I'm not an engineer. We don't know how the portal works. It was worth another try. There you are, Yoshi. What do you make of this? I'm afraid I don't know any more than you do. I'm not an engineer either. In that case, we should start thinking about the who and when. There are patrols assigned to the portals and surrounding area day and night. If someone tampered with the portal, they must have seen something. Today's day patrol didn't notice anything unusual though. I guess you just missed the part about the portal being vandalized. It'd be easy to overlook. It's a small part of the machine, and it's not like she... Oh, sorry. Let's scroll up again. Not like she was expected... where are we? To check every square inch of it with each lap around the area. What about the night patrol then? When I went over the reports this morning, I noticed the night patrol hadn't handed theirs in yet. And who was patrolling last night? Let me think for a minute. The schedule always goes in a certain order, so last night would have been... What is it? The night patrol for last night would have been Maverick. I got wrapped up in all the recent chaos and forgot to find a replacement for him when he went on sick leave. Oh no. Maybe Emra was right to take me off the case. So there was no night guard here at all. That's right. Whoever it was had an easy time doing whatever they wanted. Unless, you know, Maverick was around anyway. Could it have been Maverick? If he knew no one was going to be here, he could have used that knowledge to his advantage. He couldn't have known that I'd forget to find a replacement though. I don't usually slip up like this. What about Reza? Why would he have done it? He'd be cutting off his only way out. No, he'd be doing something smart. If he has the part needed to get the portal working again, he's in control of who gets to use it. He's cutting off our ability to communicate with mankind. We wouldn't be able to inform them of Reza's actions. Maybe we shouldn't have kept the investigation secret for this long. If your theory is true, that would be proof that Reza's actions are his own, not humanity's. Hey, I already trust you on that. Or it's a stunt to grant humanity plausible deniability. No way. Things are too dire for the humans to take such an extraordinary risk, especially for that. I'm sure that wouldn't be the only reason they benefit though. There must be something we're not aware of. Of course there is something that we're not aware of. That's why this whole mystery is happening. Maybe we're looking at this from the wrong angle. If no one was here to guard the portal, anyone could have broken it. It doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with Reza or Maverick. But they still have the greatest motives. Sure, but they definitely aren't the only ones to have one. There could be private groups who are interested in technology or its significance as a human artifact. So that puts us exactly nowhere. At least as far as speculation is concerned. It's about time for forensics to show up anyway. Let's hope they can pull some clues from all this. Sebastian, can you take it from here? You've been just as dedicated to the case as I have. Since I'll have to be at the minister's side for a while, I'd like you to take charge of the investigation for now. Thanks, Chief. I won't let you down. What's up with that anyway? Being appointed as Emra's bodyguard as punishment just seems strange to me. Are you kidding? I could have lost my job. This is a way better outcome. Honestly, she probably did it for her own sake more than anything else, but I'm not complaining. If that's all, I'm going to head back to the ministry. I shouldn't keep her waiting. So, what does that make you now, temporary chief? More like case leader. By the way, you won't need to stick around while forensics does their job. Thanks for your help. I assume you can find your way back to your apartment. Yeah, of course. Right, I'll see you later then. See you. I considered spending my free time roaming the town, but decided that it would be best to keep myself out of the spotlight. After cooking myself a rudimentary meal, I considered picking up another book when the doorbell rang. Huh? The doorbell? Hey, Yoshi. Hey, Sebastian, do you need my help again? We're just a small town police department, and with Bryce removed from the case, our resources are thinner than ever. I understand. So what do you have for me? First up is the primary witness in the latest murder. Damien, the victim's assistant. He was the one who found her body. A few things have changed since this morning, as we've gotten some additional information from forensics that warrants further questioning. I know you knew the victim personally, so you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I'll leave the choice to you. You can find her assistant at the production facility. You seem interested in that underground building found near the portal. I realized you might actually be able to help us with that. Since it's suspected to be of human origin, your opinion would be greatly appreciated. I guess I should add archaeologist to my resume. Maybe human matters consultant would be more appropriate. Do you really think it's okay for me to tamper with your priceless discoveries? Oh, you wouldn't actually go there in person. I just want you to take a look at the collected information in the archives and give us your opinion. Besides, no one is allowed to visit at the moment. The building is old and unstable, and there is a danger of it collapsing or flooding. Obviously, we don't want either of those to happen. Flooding? Yes, the whole building is underground, and we've determined that there is a rather large pocket of water surrounding it. Any kind of disturbance could endanger everything and everyone inside. I see. We also located another witness for the latest murder. A store clerk reported seeing and hearing something, so it's probably worth it to ask him a few questions. Got it. Here are all the details. Visit me at the department once you're done. Sure thing. It was interesting that they still relied on me for their investigations, even after they tried to send me back to my world. I didn't expect them to allow me to help with police matters after everything that had happened. Now that the possibility of sending me back was eliminated, the advantages of having me on their side apparently outweighed the risks, though I had to wonder who would have to be more careful from now on. Let's visit the production facility. I think that's a good idea. Spook at night. Oh, hey Yoshi. Hey, it's Lorem. Lorem, what are you doing here? I'm just fetching some equipment for Ipsum. He's in the middle of an experiment and really needs the stuff. He sounded very emotional, which is very unusual for him. Sounds like it's serious. What's it about Anna? And you're here for important human business, I bet? Sure. By the way, do you still accept my invitation? I have something really neat planned. Sounds great, but I'm pretty busy right now. It's no problem, really. Just let me know when you have the time and I'll make it happen. I should really get going before Ipsum blows up the apartment. Sure, take care. You too. This should be the right place. Alright. Oh, hello. That portal has got me thinking about how it would work. You can't... Oh. Wow. Interesting music. You can't create or destroy matter, but if the transportation works by moving matter at the speed of light, it will allow for near instantaneous transportation of matter. Then again, I'm not expert. That seems like the case, right? We seem to have it. Honestly though, no clue. It's a game. Can I help you? Hello, you are Anna's assistant, right? Assistant? You must be joking. First off, I was never anyone's assistant. Secondly, the witch is dead, so even if I was, I would have moved up the corporate ladder by now. You are Damien, aren't you? Yes, where I come from, people usually introduce themselves before they start asking questions though. You don't know who I am? Of course I know who you are, but that doesn't mean you don't need to learn some manners. Anyway, what do you want? Can I ask you a few questions? What about Anna's murder? And who are you to go around asking questions like that? Is the video game stuff about Anna? No, what I mean is that, like, it can apply whatever you want to it. But if looking into that is interesting, I mean, there is a lot of, like, actual, like, scientific details that they've kind of, like, revealed a bit of during the game, so that's cool. Yeah, you get what I mean. And who are you? Yep, okay, I'm working with the police on this matter. And I'm supposed to believe that? For all I know, you could be with a murderer and I'm just here to find out if I know something that could implicate you. Well, according to my information, you didn't particularly like the victim. Not only were you the last person to see her alive, but you were also the one who found her. As you may imagine, this warrants some questions. You know what? I don't have to listen to this. I don't know who you think you are, barging into my workplace and barking questions, but if you really are with the police, let them know that I won't say one more word on this matter without a lawyer. I wondered if Damien was a suspicious person in general, or if the rumors surrounding Reza were affecting his perception of me. Before this, everyone I had talked to during my investigations had been rather cooperative. That's interesting, isn't it? Before deciding my next move, I returned to my apartment for a moment of rest. A small piece of paper had been slipped under my door while I was gone. "Don't go to the portal" was all it said. I considered the possibility of a hidden message, but that was unlikely. The statement was blunt and quickly scrawled. Someone clearly didn't want me to go to the portal, but why would I go there in the first place? As it's out of order right now, such an action would serve no purpose. I looked outside the window at the portal's faint silhouette in the distance. Paper rustled between my fingers as I fidgeted with it, wondering about the message's sender and significance. My train of thought was violently interrupted by a sharp burst of gunfire echoing from the portal. I had to think fast. The gunshots ensured Reese's involvement. He was at the portal. Question was, why? If this was his attempt to flee back to the human world, he would receive a rather unpleasant surprise the moment he would try to use the portal. Or maybe Sebastian's theory was correct, and Reza held the part needed to repair the portal, in which case his escape could be imminent. The gunshots themselves were another question. Was someone trying to stop him? The police patrol may have seen him, and he may have been taken by surprise. This could be another murder in progress. All of his murders were committed with a sharp weapon before now, not a gun. He didn't want to be heard. Can't be Reza then! Besides, it was only early evening and the town was still bustling. If Reza wanted to stay hidden, he was doing a rather poor job at it. Of course, there was also the possibility that he wanted to be heard. Who'd he want to attract? Police, Maverick, myself. Could easily be a trap for those who, hunting him, and that technically included me, though I wasn't sure if he knew of my involvement in the investigation. There was also a very real possibility that he knew my apartment was close enough to the portal to hear a gunshot. Could be a signal for me. Regardless, the words I held in my hands were unmistakable. Don't go to the portal. What should I do? If we go to the portal, we could end up getting ourselves in danger. Right? It makes us look more suspicious because we'd be more like involved with it. Right? We've got to just call the police, right? We have to call them. We need to listen to the instructions, otherwise we're just gonna end up like ruining everything or something. Stay inside and call the police. I'm not taking the risk of going outside. Ultimately, I trusted the mysterious message. Remy's list of phone numbers, given to me when he brought me to this apartment in the first place, proved to be a valuable tool. I dialed the emergency line and was greeted by a calm voice asking me about my emergency. The gravity of the situation was understood, and I was advised to stay inside until further notice. A team was dispatched to deal with the situation while I waited. From my window, I tried to catch a glimpse of what was going on at the portal, but I couldn't see much. The dark of night was fast approaching. About an hour later, I was informed that the team had searched the perimeter, and no trace of Reza was found. I was given the go-ahead to continue with my investigation, but I was free to stay where I was if I felt unsafe. What would have happened if we had left? Oh my gosh. Big decision. Oh boy. Visit the police archives, let's go. I was on my way to the police station when a voice called out to me. Hey you! I'm talking to you, human. Oh? Hello? Can I help you? I certainly hope so. I'm in a little conundrum here. My car seems to be stuck. I can see that. I'm Katsuharu, by the way, local ice cream vendor. Yoshi, you've probably heard of me by now. Of course, of course. In any case, do you think you can spare me some time to help me out? It might take a while though, so I hope you're not in a rush. Sure, I'll help you. Hope being nice doesn't lead to bad things happening. Better not. Sure, I'll help you. Thank you. Now, I already tried just pulling it out, but I think the axle is going to break if I try to do that again. It wasn't really in the best condition to begin with, honestly, and I heard it crack when I tried to pull it out earlier. So, what do you want me to do? The cart is pretty heavy, so I'll be the one lifting it and holding the wheel steady so the axle doesn't break. Once I give you the sign, you start pulling, and hopefully that'll do the trick. Alright. Here, grab the handles and wait for my signal. By the time I had gotten into position, Katsuharu was already on the other side of the cart, getting dirty as he slowly lifted the affected corner of the cart out of the muddy hole. Is that your sign? Should I start pulling now? Do it! Do it now! I started pulling, but the cart turned out to be much heavier than I expected and didn't move. What are you waiting for? Do it already! I pulled harder, but the cart still refused to budge. I mustered all my strength before I pulled as hard as I possibly could. Yes! Do it! Slowly the cart started moving, and after a few seconds, it was free from the perilous clutches of the muddy puddle. With a dull thud, the dragon set the cart down again before he flopped on the ground, exhausted. Hey, we did it. Yeah, good job. Do you want me to call you some help? No, just need some rest. And maybe some ice cream. Yes, I'll have some ice cream and I'll be better in no time. That must be some pretty good ice cream. Oh, you have no idea. You must have already heard people talking about my wonderful, unique ice cream experience. Actually, not really. Where are my manners? I haven't even properly thanked you yet. It's no problem. No, I insist. I won't be indebted to you for helping me. What are you planning? You are hereby invited to join me for ice cream. As an ambassador, you owe it to yourself and humanity to try it. Maybe I do. Well, I must get going for now. Here is my number. I'll get you that ice cream some other time. Thanks. You helped Katsuharu. Woo! Altruist. Phew, it's getting late. I better head to the police station now. Do I have everything? Right, let's see what Sebastian will say to this. Oh, I thought it was just checking the archives. Rather than, like, just going straight there. Oops, should have went to the, to the store then. Scott and I heard something about ice cream. Yeah, ice cream. We helped a dragon whose cart was stuck. Yeah, it's good. And, so to catch you up on everything, let's see what happened here. Well, there was another murder. Anna was murdered, the red dragon. And then they were like, hey Yoshi, you should go home now, and we were like, no. And then we got like a giant, like, just plop of black backstory about like humanity and how like it was prosperous and going really well, and then suddenly some solar flare came along, and then everything just ruined. And then so we come from a place where it's just like it's been walled off and we've got military all around it apparently. And then we found the portal and we're like, hey, this is our only hope of restoring energy and stuff and power back to the humanity. So that's why we're here in the first place, and that's why we're so desperate. So we went, but then they're like, no, it's not good enough excuse. You should go home now, go back. And then we went to the portal, and guess what? It's broken. Like the generator or whatever, it got ripped out, so we weren't able to go back anyway. So we're here to help with the investigation of, you know, what's going on, who stole the generator thing. It's crazy stuff. This game just, this chapter started off really, oh man, I missed out on your last stream. Oh, hiya, and you can fight Destiny. Too bad they weren't a fellow or Tetris player for that matter. Must be a bot. Must have been a bot. It can't be, it's not the real one. But hey, welcome Russian Scythe. Welcome. And also, I always upload my streams to YouTube, or like you can watch them on Twitch if you don't want to wait. That's fine too, because usually I like wait for a couple streams, and then when I'm not busy, I upload like 4 of them at once, 4 streams. So yeah, that's why sometimes they appear out of order as well. But yeah, if you ever need to catch up, the archives will be there somewhere. It seems to me you've taken a liking to Bryce's chair. Maybe I could get used to this. Don't tell Bryce though. By the way, good job calling the police when you had Reza. Oh yeah, So also when we were back at our apartment, there were gunshots, and we had the decision to go out and investigate, or to stay back and call the police. And I was like, logically, you need to listen to the police, and if we go out, we will just cause disturbance and like arouse suspicion around us and our involvement during it. So like, my decision was to stay back at the apartment and call the police, and I really hope that decision isn't gonna like have a bad impact later. But yeah, I've gotta go. See ya. Right, thanks for tuning in. See you later. So we're suspecting that Reza isn't like he's a victim because the gunshots, right? Like, unless he, so the two things that would have possibly occurred is he's trying to escape, or he's trying to defend himself, or like trying to go back home, but like he's unable to because he doesn't have the paths. So it's like, it's so weird. By the way, good comment. Yep, when he heard Reza, it's too bad he got away again, but maybe a witness will come forward and we'll find out what happened. Now, let's take a look at what you've got for me. This isn't much information to go on, but who knows when it could come in handy. Yeah, we went to go see Anna's quote-unquote assistant, who was rude and just went, "Hey, dumb, what are you doing going up to me and just questioning me? You're not allowed to do that, get out, bye-bye." Poof, and then we weren't allowed. So yeah, I do what I can. I know, and your help is greatly appreciated. Believe me, especially since we're so short on staff right now. That'll be all for today. I'll contact you if we need anything. Of course. See you next time. See you. Alright. Finally, a free day. What should I do? Oh. Okay, so finally we've cleared out all the drama and stuff that just came up. So yeah, that's... Looks like there are some messages on the answering machine. Let's see. Hey Yoshi, guess what? We're going treasure hunting. So put on a robe and your best treasure hunting hat and let's get going. Seriously, call me back when you hear this. Well, we better go like hang out with Lauren, right? There's no Anna option anymore, Bryce. Was Anna ever an option to hang out with? Like Anna and Bryce? And I seem like, oh no, meet with Bryce. No, Bryce is still here. Meet with Katsuharu. So there was also the other one that was hold on, let's go to the menu. Good stuff. I wonder if she would have survived if we had gone with her, like hung out with her, right? I feel so bad, but there isn't too much we can do yet. Adine, that's her name. She had the option in the past, I assume, as well, so that we could like get to know her better, so that she'd be like more comfortable when she talked with us. But I don't know. All right, let's go meet with Lauren, and then we might head off after that. All right. You okay? Hey, Lauren. Hey, Yoshi. So where exactly are we going? You mentioned something about treasure hunting, but don't tell me we're actually trying to unearth some ancient human artifacts. Don't worry, this is going to be fun. I'll just hope for the best. I'm not sure who came up with it. Someone gave this kit to me as a present a few months ago. He showed me the map. It was a piece of paper that had obviously been treated to look much older than it really was. Sounds like fun. I'm glad you agree. I'm not sure if I can be of much assistance though. I don't exactly know much about the area. Bet you're big and strong! Or at least you're bigger and stronger than I am. Okay, you can do the digging. Great! Besides, I've wanted to do this for a while now, and Ipsum is always busy, so I figured this would be as good a time as any. Do we need to bring a shovel, or do you expect me to dig with my bare hands? Well, the instructions say we only need this map and a pen. What about ourselves? I think that one's a given. Of course. Of course. Of course. Great, then we're all set. So where are we supposed to go? If this is the facility, then the place indicated is the school, or rather, somewhere between the school and the administrative building. Let's go then. Ooh, right. Ooh, nice area. Just... Oh, you can see the what is it? Like the little shelter. If that's like near the park, then that would be where the hatch is. Still wonder what that's all about. Here we are. The X on the map is right between these two buildings, so it must be around here somewhere. Back to school, huh? Not quite yet. Everyone's on summer break right now. Which is a good thing, because we really wouldn't want you to get swarmed by all the children. They would go crazy if they saw you. How does school work here anyway? Are you talking about this one, or schools in general? In general, I'd like to know more about how your school system works as a whole. Yeah, that's an interesting point that I didn't think of, actually. I see you won't let a learning opportunity go by. I'm just doing my job. You should start looking for the treasure then. Sure. While I looked for hints as to the treasure's whereabouts, Lorem started talking. Right, we do have quite the education system. Different schools and districts run on their own, so when looking at details, things can vary a lot. However, there are a few things that are true no matter which region you are in. Compulsory education lasts for about 10 years. There are a lot of options for schools and school systems. Choice is an important factor here. We recognize that there isn't one system that works best for everyone, so there are many options depending on what path you want to take. Oh, that's pretty cool. That doesn't sound too different from what it used to be like in my world, but nowadays things are a bit more chaotic. Practical skills are valued most in our city, and you aren't really given a choice to do anything else. Sure, people can learn other things on their own, but it's not as if school is mandatory anymore. People just do whatever they feel like. Did you grow up like that too? No, I still got to experience our old education system, college included. What was your favorite subject? Well, I mean, we could always answer with our favorite subject, which would be math. I suppose we can be truthful about our own personality here. Wonder what these would lead to though, huh? Math. I see. My favorite was art class. Ah, I see. Wonder if we had like a stronger bond with him if we mentioned art or something. Trying out different mediums was always so much fun. I tried sculpting again recently. What for? Art doesn't need a justification. But anyway, it helps me visualize what the characters in my game should look like. Can't you do that with a computer? Sure, but working with a physical medium makes things easier for me. Instead of working with an interface, there's only my hands and a lump of clay. No technological gadgets required. Math, yeah, math. That's my favorite subject, actually. I see. Did you find anything yet? I sure haven't. No, I feel like we must be missing something. Maybe, but the map clearly marked this place. You can see it for yourself. Yeah, the X definitely points to this alley. And it must be here somewhere. Investigate the water trough? Maybe it has something to do with the water trough in the faucets. Maybe. Let's check it out. We walked over and looked inside the water trough. Inside, the dirt was already a few inches high, a clear indicator that it hadn't been cleaned for a while. I guess the janitor is on summer break too. Or maybe they left it there here on purpose because our treasure is inside. It's all dried up though, way too hard to start digging. Maybe that's what the faucets are for. If you say so. Turn on the faucets and watch as the trough slowly filled with water. That should be enough. And now, we start digging. Come on, what kind of treasure hunters would we be if we didn't get our hands dirty? I immersed my hands in the sludge. This is still pretty hard. Let's turn on the water again then. Norm joined me. Both of us dug around in the sludge, which slowly became clearer as more water filled the trough. Hey, I think I've got something. Really? Yeah, I think it's stuck to the bottom. Norm's face was straining as he tried to pull harder and harder on the object he had found. Maybe I should try? I think I got it. Suddenly his hands reappeared from beneath the murky water, holding a small shiny object in their grasp. There it is! What is it? He opened his hand to reveal a big screw. Oh. Maybe you should put that back. Yeah, maybe. By now the water had become clear enough that we could see where the screw originally was. After Lauren replaced it, we noticed that, besides the water, the trough was completely empty. I guess it's not here after all. Or at least the janitor will be grateful for the cleaning. Yeah, that's true. Maybe. Examine the walls. Maybe it has something to do with the walls. What makes you think so? They're clearly missing something here, so maybe there is some sort of hint we've been overlooking. Something that wouldn't be obvious to anyone else who came through here. I have no idea what you're talking about. These walls don't really look special to me. My gaze slowly went along the walls, trying to find something, anything that could have a hidden meaning. Hey, look at that. What do you mean? It kinda looks like an X on the wall, don't you think? I guess so. Maybe it's here somewhere. Look there! Lauren crouched down and stuck his hand in an indentation that ran along the wall near the ground. Alright, sticking hands in things doesn't sound like such a good idea to me. Aha! What is it? He put out a cylindrical, shiny object and held it up to me. It looks like some sort of capsule. Maybe there's something inside. That's going to be a pretty small treasure. He screwed it open and held the two halves of the cylindrical object in his hands. To our surprise, it didn't have any empty space on the inside. Nothing could be hidden within. Instead, the inside of the two halves were engraved. What does it say? 2J. That's it? Yep, it's also on the other half. Might be coordinates. The grid on the map had numbers and letters like that. That means 2J would be here. Right in the middle of a forest. Let's go. Okay. Okay, right in the middle of a forest. Here we go. Oh. Finding our spot might be a bit more difficult from here on out. Why is that? We don't really have buildings and addresses as reference anymore. Here we only have a spot in the middle of a forest. Don't worry, I have an excellent sense of navigation. That's cool. Let's hope we find it before it gets too dark though, or things might become a lot more complicated. I'd rather not get lost here. You won't have to worry about anything. If there are any predators in the area, they'll see me as a better target than you. Don't tell me there are predators in these woods. Not really, there might be a stray or two. That should be it. These woods are considered to be very safe. Even if that's true and if worst comes to worst, you can just fly away. I guess that's true. You kinda sound like you don't like the woods though. I like going for walks in the woods as long as it's safe. They're creepy. Yeah, they are creepy. You don't have anything to worry about. I already told you, there shouldn't really be any predators in these parts. And it's not like these woods are haunted or anything. What's it? I don't know, reminds me of something. What is it? Maybe you'll be interested in this. In our world, there is a forest that was notorious for the many suicides that took place there. It was said to be haunted by angry spirits. That sounds horrible. But why are there so many suicides there? And why are the spirits so angry? Well, in Japanese folklore, people have a soul or spirit that is called reikon. Upon a person's death, the reikon represents, separates from the body and goes to a form of purgatory. After certain rites have been performed, the reikon then goes on to join its ancestors and becomes a protector of the living family. However, under certain circumstances, like the rites not being performed correctly or dying in a sudden or violent manner, the reikon transforms into a yurei instead. The yurei can return to the physical world and haunts it until it has been laid to rest. So there you go, another myth for your collection. Well, I know where not to go for my next vacation now. It's just a myth anyway. I suppose. What do you think about stuff like that? Paranormal stuff? You know, until a few weeks ago, humans were still just a myth. And if we look at the portal, it's like something that came out of science fiction. Ipsum suddenly seemed interested in it. He is. He actually read up on some new theories about it. Like what? You remember him telling you about the different branches and how the barrier separates them, right? Yeah. So, since the barrier is made up of wormholes and using the portal displaces them, it leaves gaps in the barrier. I distinctly remember him talking about something like that. Through these gaps, he thinks we can communicate with our alternate selves in the other timelines. How does that work? It all goes into the nature of existence itself. Who are you as a person? Do you think you are just the Yoshi from this branch? What about the ones from all the other timelines who have made other decisions? Would you consider yourself to be the same person as them? The only difference between you and the Yoshi from another branch may be that you decided to skip breakfast this morning. Maybe you are all of them. How is that possible? Being a player in a game, of course. Like a seed from which many roots can sprout, or a tree in its branches, there may be a uniting factor that branched off into these different timelines, your fundamental nature. You might call it a soul or something similar, but the idea is that even though there are many different versions of you, there is an aspect that unites all of you. This game gets really meta with these guys, doesn't it? A part of myself that stands over me, kind of like a super ego. An interesting comparison. If we use a similar model here, then we can say that you are also made up of 3 distinct parts. In each timeline, you have a physical body, which is driven by its own base desires that it seeks to fulfill. All physical needs like hunger, thirst, and even breathing fall under this category. However, as a being with free will, you are also capable of making your own decisions. That includes being able to act contrary to what your body is telling you. This ability to think and make decisions on your own is your rational mind, the self. And lastly, there is the third part I just talked about, the one that stands above all of you and unites you in some way. Let's call this your higher self. Through this higher self, you may be able to communicate with your alternate selves in some way. Usually the barrier would prevent this, but through the gaps, communication becomes a possibility. The more gaps there are, the easier this should be. So as we play the game more and more times, I wonder if there's going to be any special effect. Oh, fascinating. How would I go about doing that? I suppose that would be the job of the higher self. So I can't control it? These are all just theories. We wouldn't really know until it happened, only then could we study it. So if I replay the game, does that mean that there would be more chance? Which means that something would... so fascinating. If it was to happen, how would I know? If someone else's experience gets relayed through this connection to you, it could manifest in a number of ways. Maybe it could be something like a deja vu or a false memory, maybe even dreams. But the biggest difficulty would be to recognize that this phenomenon is happening in the first place. It's something quite out there, you have to admit. Sure, but quantum mechanics are already complicated enough. Once you look at what lies beyond, it's just crazy territory. What do you think about all this? I think it might already be happening. Really? Just think about it. If the possibility of it ever happening is there, then it's more than likely that it already has. I'm not sure I follow. Let's assume that this is an average timeline. Portals have been found by both of our people, contact has been made, and now you and Riza are both here for a visit. A few letters were exchanged before you and Riza were sent here, so that means the portal has already been used a few times. Using a portal once might only have an infinitely smaller effect on the barrier, like poking a hole in a castle wall with a needle. However, if you multiply this by a nearly infinite number of possible timelines in which these events have happened, the effects must already be noticeable. Of course, some people may be more susceptible to this than others. Do you think you've already experienced it? I don't know. I've been having some weird dreams lately. I wonder if this would be like a second playthrough, or if I had been making save states along the way, if this would impact this cutscene at all. I've been having some weird dreams lately. Dreams can always be weird though. Me too? We can say me too. Yeah? I suppose. Really? We were just entering a clearing, and from my view, I could see some odd lines that had been drawn on the ground. Hey, I think this is the spot. Why do you think so? Well, the giant X on the ground kinda gives it away. Lauren took flight with a few flaps of his wings. After looking at the scenery from above, he returned to me. You're right, it does look like Giant X. Guess it's time to get our hands dirty again. That may not be necessary this time. What are you talking about? He went to the center where the lines crossed and picked up an object that was lodged halfway into the ground. He returned to me once more, holding another capsule similar to the one we had found near the school. If we have to go back to town after walking all this way, I'll... And it's open. Apparently going to 6K now. And where is that? There is an abandoned store on the other side of the forest. That's where we're going. That just means the way back is gonna be even longer. Great. Oh, abandoned store. Abandoned places are scary, guys. Are you sure we should even be here? This is the place indicated by the map. I was talking about the building being roped off. Maybe that's just part of the game. Is the flooding part of the game too? Hey, you can give up if you want to. I certainly won't. Now, you gonna help me or not? I guess. I just didn't expect that I'd have to get wet for this. All part of being a treasure hunter. Let's just look for the axe. Sure. Lauren flew up to the light fixtures to get a view from above while I checked out the shelves. I remember when we could still shop here. What happened? Apparently the area has a problem with flooding. I can see that. So much work and resources are needed to erect a building like this one, and in the end, it just gets abandoned. We have plenty of empty buildings where I come from. But really, not sure this is a good reminder of home though. At least we don't have a problem with the flooding. I nearly got sent back, by the way. Really? Why? Political reasons. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it. You just did. Is it related to that announcement they made about Reza? Maybe. Huh, guess things are pretty serious. They are. Have you found anything yet? Not really. Maybe it's underwater. You think so? It's certainly not anywhere near the ceiling, I already checked that. And I found nothing near the walls or the shelves. Could be hidden beneath a floor tile or something like that. I suppose you're right. Let's do it. Alright. Without hesitation, Lauren vanished between the water's surface. Breathed in deeply, crashed down, and began looking underwater as well. Ooh, wow. That's a lot of flooding. Looked around, but nothing seemed out of the ordinary to me. Just as I was about to resurface and get some air, I heard a splash accompanied by a loud thud. What was that? Lauren? Everything was quiet as I looked around for my companion. Suddenly, I heard frantic knocks coming from the shelf that was lying on the ground, half submerged in the water. I realized that it was still standing when we came in earlier. As I waded over to it, it soon became clear that knocks were coming from underneath. Lauren? Quickly, I mustered all my strength and grabbed the shelf, lifting it up until it fell over to the other side with a loud splash. Lauren resurfaced, gasping for breath. What just happened? I was looking underwater and suddenly the shelf just came down on top of me. Are you okay? Yeah, I think so. My leg hurts a bit, but that's about it. But I totally saw something. Let me show you. Without waiting for a reply, Lauren dove down into the water again, resurfacing just a few seconds later holding an ominous metal box that had a large X on it. This should be it. Let's hope it's waterproof though. From the looks of it, it is. We should go outside though. It'll be hard to read anything in here. Sure. Alright. Well, what's inside? Lauren held up the box to me. I took one of the sheets of paper that were inside and started reading. I think these are pizza vouchers. Lauren was holding another sheet which he started reading aloud. Congratulations, you have solved Pantoli Pizza's annual treasure hunt. Remember the code word enclosed for an instant rebate on your next order and a chance for the grand prize. Pizza vouchers. You could be the lucky winner for a year's supply of Pantoli's Pizza. This competition will run until... Oh. What is it? It's expired. The treasure hunt? The contest? Apparently it all ended months ago. Can we still get the pizza? Well, I don't think that offer is still valid. I mean, we could still get pizza regardless. This whole thing has made me really hungry. I suppose this concludes our treasure hunt. What do we do now? Maybe we could see this experience as another reminder that the journey is its own reward, or that the early bird gets the worm. You really want some pizza, don't you? That makes me wonder though, why didn't they get rid of the hints in this box when the contest expired? They must have realized that people may still have these kits at home, even when the contest is over. If people went out looking for a hint in the woods and it wasn't there anymore, they might look for hours until they decide there was nothing to find. Or they just didn't care. You know, I'm slowly starting to lose hope in Pantoli's Pizza. Sending us here is really negligent. Who knows what would have happened to you if I wasn't here. Maybe this whole building could crash down on the next unlucky people who end up here. Maybe that's why I was roped off in the first place. You thought it was part of the game. Maybe they should have put up a sign or something. While I was talking, Lauren walked towards one of the wooden poles that was used to rope off the building. He picked up a large rectangular object from the ground that was hidden in the grass. It was a wooden sign. Warning, do not proceed past this point. The treasure hunt has concluded and there is nothing more to find. Danger ahead. We could find the treasure, but not this huge sign. What does that say about us? I'm not sure exactly. We should probably head back before it gets too dark though. We still have to go through the woods again. Alright, let's go. Yeah, can't find the warning sign. Do you want to pick up some pizza on the way home? I don't know. I don't know. Looks like I have some free time today. Alright, so that will probably be it for today. It is past 2, so I should really get to sleep because tomorrow I should be busy as well. Let's go into our save. Yes, we shall overwrite our save. Alright, let's see here. So, still same sort of stuff around here, aside from the loss of, you know, a character. Very, very sad, but hey, I guess that's just how it is. The achievements. Yeah, I still haven't got the, Bryce's implementation. Wait for Remy, we never got that. Yeah, this librarian thing, never got around. B. Sebastian is like, yeah, huh. Interrogate Damien. Huh, but Damien didn't want to talk with us. I wonder if there's like a chance later on. Yeah, find a handful of does, something that we should have gotten. Appreciate the landscape too. Mysterious orb. Window shopper we got. Oh my gosh. Why does everything keep like, so sad. Remy's pictures. Alright. Yeah, that should be all is there. Alright. So next up we should be visiting what's name? Remy again. We'll go visit him again, it should be good. Because it seems like Lorem and Remy will be the one that we hang out with most during this playthrough. Not sure if anything significant would happen to them if we don't hang out with them, so it's kind of like, but you know, we'll be doing multiple playthroughs anyway, which means that maybe I'll take the opportunity to focus on other characters, then see what happens when I'm like talking to going through each of the characters' stuff. Like so first I go to these two, and then I go to these two, and like end up actually meeting up with everyone eventually. That would be good, huh? But at this point in time, we're just focusing on those two. So anyway, thank you as always for watching. It was great having you guys here. Hopefully you can tune in next time. Not sure if tomorrow I'll have time to stream again, but we'll see what happens really. Until then, hope you have a great rest of the day or night. Hope to see you soon. Love you guys as always, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.